So, hello, I am Aiga Udre from the Professional Association for Psychodrama and Sociometry from Latvia. And we are making these talks with the psychodramatists in Latvia and all around the world. And today we have Reijo Kauppila from Helsinki Psychodrama Institute and very known psychodramatist. Hey, Reijo.
Hi, Aiga. Nice to be here.
Yes. Thank you. And well, we have a lot of questions for you because you are psychodramatist with a lot of experience and you are former Nordic-Baltic Board of Examiners president. Yeah, so this will be an interesting talk. Yeah, but first of all, I don't know, I cannot introduce you. It's the best that you are doing this yourself, I think. So yeah, just tell us something about you. Who are Reijo Kauppila?
Okay, yeah. So I'm a psychodramatist and psychodrama trainer, TEP, trainer educator practitioner. Yeah, and I have been working with psychodrama, sociometry, and sociodrama for quite actually not so many years. Sorry.
How much?
How many?
How
It
many?
depends a bit how you count. I started my psychodrama studies 20 years ago, 2004, in the beginning of the year. And so it was like I graduated as CP 2010, I think. But I was, of course, doing psychodrama and applying psychodrama, especially in organizations, already during my psychodrama studies. So it's yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
And how did you get in psychodrama?
It was partly by accident.
Oh.
My other main field is in the field of adult education, and so I worked in a medium-sized Finnish organization in charge of personal development there, and so I participated in 1-2 year training, in which in one seminar there was a psychodramatist, and we did a role map. And she directed one of these on stage. And then I thought that, this seems to be quite interesting. It activates quite a lot. And it's something connected to what I was missing when I was studying adult education at the University of Helsinki, because you get quite good these kind of competencies on theory and methodology and models and processes at the university, at least at the time when I was studying there. It was quite a long time ago. But there was not really this kind of, what does it really concretely mean when adults learn individually, in groups, in teams, and in organizations and communities. And so I thought, this seems to be it's quite practical and it's activating. And adult learning is based on experiences. So I thought, this might be interesting. Something what was missing at the university there. And so when this training was finished, then I saw that, there's a group leading training, which is based on psychodrama, starting. And then I went there in the beginning of 2004.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way how I came to psychodrama.
And what?
So it was a kind of this kind of professional path. Of course, I was activated too when I did this role map. I didn't do it on stage, but anyway, I did it on paper, and it was personally activating too. But the main path to psychodrama was because of my work and my studies, early studies.
Hey, and when did you get on a stage the first time? Do you remember the first time on a stage?
I'm not sure because it was. I think I was quite terrified
Okay.
when I was first time on stage because of this huge activation.
Yeah.
And it was quite early in studies that we started to do at least short protagonist works, which were conducted by the trainers. And so it was quite extremely interesting and scaring at the same time. Yeah.
I'm in this club with you.
Okay. Good to hear. Yeah.
First step.
But then I thought it's part of the package. So if I want to learn psychodrama and sociometry, then this is what I have to do.
Yeah. So you have to jump at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just trust that this will be good for myself.
Yeah. And how do you say is psychodrama and life the separate words, or is it together, psychodrama and the life outside of psychodrama?
Good question. I think that at least there is a lot of individuals and groups and communities' lives in psychodrama, because it's like as you know, what we do in psychodrama and sociodrama and sociometry, we explore and make alive experiences, past, present, or future. So it's without this outer life of psychodrama, there wouldn't be anything to explore. There would, and share individually and in groups. And on the other way, the connection from psychodrama and sociodrama, sociometry to the outer life, I think it's sometimes it has very straight connections. Like I used to work a lot in organizations, with organizations especially, and so when I am applying especially sociometry, so sometimes sociodramatic processes, sometimes psychodrama, when it's ethically useful, or we can use it from the ethical perspective too in organizations, then I think we are, or I am bringing and using psychodrama in the outside world of psychodrama. And so actually I'm talking like there would be a very fixed and strong border and wall there in between, but actually there is not. Life is definitely coming into psychodrama and sociometry, and from here it definitely has some impact and effects and influence in the other parts of the life of the participants, and of course trainers and leaders too.
Yeah, because you have to have experience of a participant, right? And
and then whatever happens in participants, activations, transformational experiences, etc., then they are going outside of this specific session or event, which is called psychodrama or sociometry or sociodrama. So it is spread, definitely.
Okay, thank you. And what was your most surprising discovery in psychodrama about yourself when you started?
Surprising discovery. I think I'm quite introvert. And so this kind of now when I'm thinking of the answer to your question, I think it's more like that. It's this experience that I'm not so ready. It's not so easy for myself to share something of myself to others. And so I and when this happened as a protagonist in psychodrama, what it was so revealing and relieving, both at the same time, for myself as an experience, and that was as a protagonist or as a participant in psychodrama. It's surprise. The other one is if I'm thinking of sociodrama or sociodramatic processes, I was surprised in the first that we participated during our training, that how vivid and enlivened the social relations in the community that we created can become in the sociodramatic sessions, and how activating it is, both from the questions of the community or of personal experiences, and how powerful it is.
Yeah.
And then from the sociometric perspective, I think that it's like it's an extremely impactful tool, if I call sociometry a tool, to use in group relations. It's amazing how it helps people to come together and join each other when it's done in a way that is open and non-judgmental to all of the participants. Yeah, that I was really surprised when we started to do it, and when I started to apply it in organizations.
So there's always a little surprise when you start in a new organization for them. Like,
yeah, and for myself, I don't do it anymore. I'm retired, so I'm just I'm just talking about the past in this perspective. But still, yeah.
But still, we are here now, so
Exactly. Yeah, it's still very much alive in myself. Yeah.
I see it really.
Yeah.
Your eyes. Okay, so yeah, there definitely.
One more thing. It was such a good question. I was thinking of this because I'm interested on a theoretical and methodological basis of everything I do. And so when I started with psychodrama and sociodrama and sociometry, I didn't quite grasp the theoretical basis as a whole.
Mm.
And it's what is now surprising me when I'm retired and I have much more time to go deeper in theory. It's how many connections we can make and recognize. Sorry, I have a camera which automatically interprets my hands. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes this. I don't know how to get it off. But what I was saying, that how this kind of it's quite easy and quite fascinating connections that one can make from the theoretical and methodological basis of psychodrama, sociodrama, and sociometry to adult education's theories and models, and the other way too. So it's yeah, it's a bit surprising for myself now, at least.
Yeah, because you were the one that made us do, I think, this Erasmus Plus project about the adult education, right?
Yeah, I had my part in it, and of course it was the whole board who was like doing it. Yeah.
But I think you started the whole thing with the Erasmus Plus to make it. You was this were this inspirational background for it.
From the adult education. Yeah, that might be. Yeah. And yeah.
But I think it can be like this. Okay, so yes, about the Nordic-Baltic Board, can you describe for me, I don't know, your involvement in it, and how does it started?
It started quite, the beginning was quite an administrational thing, because the representative of Helsinki Psychodrama Institute, it was Mari Rautiainen. She left the board, and I was the substitute. So it was like okay, Reijo, you are substitute, you are now leading the institute, so you will be a member in Nordic-Baltic Board, the representative of Helsinki Psychodrama Institute there. So it was a kind of administrative process at the time. Yeah.
Be there. Yeah.
Sorry.
So you have to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I had to be there, but of course I wanted to, because I think that Finland, we are less than 6 million people in Finland. There are quite many trained psychodramatists in Finland and TPs too. But I think that we need, not in Finland, but in general in psychodrama, we need this kind of very active relations to our colleagues in other countries, so that we don't get like, this is our room and this is our space and we are not interested what is happening outside. And so but on the contrary, I think that we can do so much more, we can develop so much more, we can learn so much more when we do this kind of professional exchange and sharing and co-creating on multinational level, international levels. And I think it's needed in all the psychodrama countries at the moment.
I agree. And yeah, about your involvement.
Yeah, my involvement. So I think I was as a member of the Nordic-Baltic Board, and then I became the president. I'm not sure when it was, but I think I was about 4 or something years the president of the board.
It can be so. Well, we will make your CV in written.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And but I liked it a lot. This kind of I would call it even a team building between the persons and members in the board, so that we could, it was extremely interesting and challenging too sometimes, but so fruitful, so that it was like how to find these kind of things or contents or situations where we could come together I think there has all the time been in 6 members in the board, and so how to do it together. Yeah, and it's been extremely interesting and fruitful. And I think one practical accomplishment or thing that we did was this Erasmus Plus project, which was, I think it was like a sign or remark of it, that now we are working quite well together as a team, because we could plan it, we could do it, and we could end it too, which was nice. I don't mean that it was almost 2 years project, and I laughed to end something that we have planned, that it will end. Yeah. I haven't been so always so successful in that, but now it worked because of our team, of course.
Yes. And well, because of you, because you started this, I think, and make all the paperwork and a lot of requirements for the Erasmus.
Yeah. It's this kind of thing I used to like.
So it's important to be in a place where you can do things you like with your heart.
Exactly. Yeah, and with people you like, because it's you can do something alone, but you can do so much more with other people, together with other people, like co-creation is.
So about psychodrama. I don't know if you had answered this already, but which thing do you find the most exciting in psychodrama? Well, you can, or in sociodrama, or in sociometry.
Yeah.
The most exciting thing.
The most exciting thing and inspiring thing for me now, and I think for the past, okay, there is at least 2 or 3. Okay, I start with the one which first came to my mind, is this theoretical conceptualization of a psychodrama, and now I use psychodrama as a umbrella concept, which includes traditional psychodrama, sociodrama, and sociometry, and partly, of course, axiodrama. So now I find it extremely interesting to make this kind of conceptual connections of our theories and methodologies to adult learning, and especially to the theoretical and methodological field of adult education, and then vice versa. It's extremely interesting for myself now and inspiring. The other one is applying psychodrama and sociometry in trainings. I'm not doing psychodrama groups anymore. I did it for quite many years, these kind of 1-year processes, one group 1 year, about 35-40 sessions once per week. But I haven't done it for years anymore. But it's now I have, I think, my last training groups and they will end this year. One here in June and one in the end of November in the autumn. I won't start long processes anymore, but it's extremely interesting to be together with the learning group, a part of the learning group, and do interventions, give instructions, and then live together with the participants. What is activated, the outcome of my interventions, and it's extremely interesting. And the third part is we have created this kind of stabilization program for traumatized families, together with my dear colleagues, Milena and Stefan. and we are training it to professionals who work with these families in areas where there is war, or there has been earthquake, or any kind of this kind of context and surroundings where families are living and where they are traumatized. And so that's extremely inspiring and exciting. This is one thing which I will continue after this year too. But
that's a really good job.
It is
for everybody, for people.
Yeah, and it's extremely it is kind of it's sometimes quite hard, and at the same time it is very giving for myself, and I'm sure for my two colleagues too. So it seems like that this kind of it seems like what is inspiring for me at the time is theory training and practice applying psychodrama. Yeah. And one more thing. Now when I'm not so much anymore involved in work, I enjoy a lot meeting colleagues in psychodrama world. much more than I did for years.
Nice.
Yeah.
We will meet in the Moreno days.
Yeah, in Vilnius. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So Reijo, is there some exciting things for you right now in psychodrama?
Yes, there is two topics or two fields which I find inspiring. The other one is about applying sociodramatic process and these creative action process in a group, and it's connected to planetary boundaries and climate change. So I'm so happy to work together with our colleague Marit Partanen-Härtel, who has been preparing this kind of field for years, and we have done seminars together from this perspective. How is the planet Earth doing? What is our impact as human beings in the planet? How does it look now? And what kind of possible potential futures there are for us as the whole planet and as human beings? And we have been doing these workshops for some years now, and it's one thing which I definitely will continue with her. And it's something that is very profoundly connected to our existence as human beings.
Yeah, I was in Berlin in Mariut's workshop about this, and that was just mind-blowing.
Okay.
It really makes you think about what's the future for us and how can we fix it right now.
Yeah, and what you can do as an individual or with your close network. For it. Yeah, exactly. Nice to hear. I wasn't able to join you in Berlin. We just had one seminar in Budapest now in April, and then we will have one workshop in Baltic Moreno days in Vilnius.
Yeah, I will be there.
Nice to join you. And this is somehow one of the reasons why I have been focusing on axiodramatic perspective in psychodrama, sociodrama, and sociometry, because it's axiodrama is I usually say the first form of creative dramas that Moreno created and which he worked with. And so, especially in this was activated in myself, especially in connection of the workshops we have been doing together with Marjut. And because it's axiodrama is about values and belief systems, and our fundamental world view as individuals and as groups and communities. And it's something that we always relate to in psychodrama and in sociodrama. We always act based on these.
Yeah.
And sometimes they pop out, but not at all the times. And I think this is an interesting perspective, how to explore individually and in groups and communities our principal core values and our beliefs and belief systems, and to recognize and acknowledge something of these. Because then it's like in psychodrama and sociodrama, when we become aware of something that is leading and guiding us, and which has a huge impact on our choices, and all of our acts and actions are based on our choices, which are partly mostly unconscious and partly conscious. And this whole axiodramatic perspective guides our choices. So why shouldn't we sometimes focus on it and explore it? Because at once we can acknowledge at once we can give a concrete shape and or concretization part of it, then we are able to more consciously relate to it and potentially to have some impact on those and not just live our lives unconsciously driven by these. I find it extremely inspiring, and it's partly too connected to the philosophical basis and foundation of sociometry and psychodrama and sociodrama. So I find it's like connected to our quite deep psychological human needs as individuals and groups.
Yeah.
And these two things I am extremely inspired still. So yeah.
It sounds like you are not retired.
Yes, I'm tired. I don't do work anymore. I just do things which I like enough. Yeah.
Oh, retirement sounds nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I can strongly recommend it.
Thank you.
I know you're so much younger, but still, yeah.
Well, still, I can think about how to make retirement in my now age, in this sense that I'm doing what I like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't have to wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Excellent idea. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, is there anything you don't like in psychodrama? Something that you dislike about it?
What might be? It's hard to me for myself to say I don't like something or
or
I
maybe what is
dislike.
hard?
Or I dislike something. I usually formulate it's challenging for myself, but that's my way of coping of this thing. It means the same.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. So there is. It's a bit challenging. It has been quite a bit challenging for myself. This kind of how would I say guru culture in psychodrama, and because it makes I think that it's made hard to really connect to people. Guru phenomenon. It's of course not a question of individual, as nothing is solely question of individuals, but it's a question of a group and community too. And but it's a kind of it makes this kind of encounters hard and challenging, I think. And it's when I started to study psychodrama, I was wondering a bit, what is this Moreno God thing? This kind of I'm not at all religious, and I don't have this kind of yeah. And so I was a bit wondering, what is this and and yeah, exactly. And then and then I was thinking that it's hard. It can be a barrier between people, and sometimes it is really, I think, and on both ways, it doesn't make these kind of telic relations and tele encounters at least not easier always inside psychodrama world. And I think this is quite might be a heritage from Moreno. I have never met him, and so I don't know. It's just what I've heard as rumors and experiences, and then something I've read from the books. But it might be this kind of unconscious heritage from there.
Yeah, maybe because there's a lot of very interesting and very colorful stories, and that makes somehow people think that wow.
Yeah. Or then like never. Yeah. But I think it's everywhere it happens.
Yeah.
But I think especially psychodrama, it was the one thing which I recognized in the beginning, and it still exists, but I think not so much anymore. It naturally happens in the groups, but they were more like cultural conserve, this kind of gurus. And nowadays, I think it's less. At least I hope so. Yeah.
I'm feeling this that it's a little less. I think it's because of our generation, youngest, because well, I don't have it a lot, and younger people don't. They don't have this, ladders of hierarchy or something. I don't know. I've met some famous people, and I always think that they are just people at some point. So I don't know about this guru. Well, I need something to believe to, anyway. And to know that someone is experienced more than me. I know that you, Reijo, are, for example. But I see this part that there is just, well, we are all sane people with hearts, and so.
Exactly. So this was one thing, and then I thought, because psychodrama seems to be even not so much today, but on some level quite scattered. So inside one and same country, there might be this kind of cliques or subgroups who don't really communicate with each other. And so it comes potentially from this learning and development process, which is included in psychodrama. You become very much the person that you feel you really are, even though there is no, in psychodrama, there is not this kind of real me concept. But it's this kind of growing and developmental process of personality, which is included in psychodrama training and psychodramatic processes. And so this strengthens this kind. It's potentially this kind of guru phenomenon.
Mm.
It's needed so that I can relate to each other
Yeah.
in a constructive, open, and potentially positive way.
Mm.
But so but if it becomes overdeveloped role, then it's a challenge. And these kind of overdeveloped roles, I have met some, and then it's challenging. It's really is challenging sometimes. I think that's one challenge in psychodrama world. This it's part of the growing and professional developmental process, which is included in psychodrama training.
Yeah.
And I think it's a side product of or side effect of this kind of very long personality development process, which happens in psychodrama training too.
Yeah.
And we just should be conscious that this might happen.
Hmm. Yeah, and then you can do something with it when you discover that you are guru.
It's exactly. Or if you think that it's what is here now going on. The
Yeah.
other one is I think what is challenging, which has become easier to, is the connection of psychodrama world with other fields, with other domains.
Yeah.
Of in therapy, in organizations, in social work, in education, anywhere. So there are connections between psychodrama world and other domains on level of practice.
Yeah.
But there's a huge work to be done on the level of research, theory, and methodologies.
Yeah.
And this is I think this is a challenge. And it's I know that originally Moreno he had some excellent ideas, but he was not so systematic researcher and scientist. Not at all. He had some excellent things. But yeah, there are a lot of challenges in and nowadays it's better, much more better. But still, there's a huge amount of work to be done there. And psychodrama, and it seems that Moreno was very practice oriented, and it seems that psychodrama is very practice oriented.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge how to make this kind of theoretical foundations and theoretical processes and research and exploration and how to support it inside psychodrama and then in relation to other fields of research and science.
Yeah.
This is I don't know if it's a dislike, this situation, but I think it's a challenge anyway.
It is a challenge that must be done at some point.
Yeah, and I don't know how to do it on large scale, but I think it's yeah. Individually, we can do something, and potentially as a group. I don't, and then of course on the level of the community too. But it starts with individuals and then of the community levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
And continues. And it's nice to see that this kind of things happens more and more. But I think it's a challenge still in the future. Because if we don't do it, psychodrama will be left alone. Only practice is not enough.
Yeah. Because people wants to know how it works.
If we want to spread it among practitioners, that's what we are already doing. But it doesn't. How would I say? It doesn't give us firm basis for the future. We need cooperation with other fields on theories, methodologies, and research, definitely, if we want to survive and flourish in the future.
So this brings me to my next question. How do you see psychodrama after 20 years?
After 20 years?
Yeah.
Do you want to have a dystopia or utopia or something there in between? My question comes from, I have been reading novels of the changes, climate change and all the changes that is happening in the planet, and most of them are dystopias.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah. And some extremely realistic feeling dystopias. But yeah.
Well, we can have one utopia and one dystopia.
One dystopia. Excellent. I don't know which one this is, but I think I hope that this work with theory and research will continue. There has been this kind of work and is still going on this kind of work, especially on the field of therapy and psychotherapy. And then this kind of work on applications outside of psychodrama, which are theoretically based on psychodrama and sociometry and sociodrama. Like there was one huge Erasmus Plus project too, which was led by Hungary, about using sociodrama in vocational education. And then this our project Erasmus Plus, which was connected to adult education and how to enhance group relations for learning in adult learning groups. And so I hope this continues and spreads to in other fields, hopefully in all fields of application. And because I think it's needed. It's excellent that we have so many therapists, but I think one potential field in the future which already exists is in the field of therapy and psychotherapy, applying psychodrama and sociometry. And then other fields are much more open. And I think that could be one potential field to have more students and professionals too. Of course, it needs looking and checking our training standards, which we have in Nordic-Baltic Board quite expressed, but still it's like I think it's the direction that psychodrama and sociometry could be extremely useful and where we could grow a lot. This is yeah. And then I hope that this ongoing international cooperation with psychodrama professionals will increase and get more systematic. Now it's more like based on individual experiences of individual in different events, seminars, workshops. And besides that, we need this kind of more systematic processes for developing psychodrama and sociometry for practice, theory, and methodologies. I don't know, it's my wishes for the future in 20 years, and let's see. And of course, the third one is that what is on some level happening already now, that we shall more use and apply our competencies, our processes, our theoretical models in fields of application, others than therapy too. Because I can see there would be so much help and there is so much need of our perspective on humans and human relations and groups and communities in different parts of societies and communities, and how to try to go there and start to do something which is theoretically based too, and based potentially on research. Yeah, and the dystopy is that nothing of this happens.
I got the feeling that you will say this.
Yeah. So the dystopy is that it stays like it is now.
Yeah.
And because after 20 years, if nothing changes, the present situation is a strong cultural conserve, and we all know what it means for psychodrama.
Yeah.
If it becomes a cultural conserve, strong like this.
Yeah. So, I have this what if question. one more. What
Okay,
if
good.
question. What if you met Moreno? What do you want to ask him?
I would ask him. I think I would follow a bit the same kind of line of questions that you have here, but I would ask him about what is inspiring for him in doing this work with people, individuals and groups.
Okay.
And why he finds it inspiring and interesting. Probably he will mention something, but a bit wider and deeper. I would love to hear his thoughts. I don't know if I want to hear what he thinks about the situation in the world at the moment, because it's if he is not going to be active in it, I don't know if I want to know it.
Right, but yeah, well, we can just think that maybe the situation haven't changed at all.
Yeah. Most probably it hasn't. Yeah. This is true. Yeah.
And that's not good too, you know.
Yeah. Or then it is just like when I'm reading newspapers from 100 years or 150 years news in newspapers, it's the same things. The youth, how reckless it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't obey anything. Yeah, it's the same thing. The only how it is shown, the way is different. So maybe this kind of phenomena stays in our societies, but only the content and context is changed. But it might be that but oh yeah.
Yeah, but the psychodrama is therapy method of the 21st century. So it's we are here.
Yeah. That's true.
We are out, you know.
Yeah.
At the place where psychodrama is the method.
Yeah. This is This is something. I think it's interesting and kind of good that Moreno had such a strong belief that using psychodrama and sociometry, we could solve the world's problems. Maybe this needed this kind of belief of the future that at the same time it doesn't happen on this scale.
Yeah.
I don't know if this kind of things exist anymore. Moreno was a child of his time, so there were there were other this kind of movements or groups or domains which were founded in late 19th century, in the beginning of 20th century, 100 years ago, which had this same kind of humanistic, something transcendental in the thinking and concepts and methods and methodologies. So Moreno was a child of his own time, and he formed, and he has some excellent ideas and concepts, and I can understand it because there was the World War I, which was quite shaking in Europe. And you could see at the same time in Asia, there was happening a lot of things that no one wants to experience again. And then it came to the Second World War after 30 years, 20 years actually.
Yeah.
And then
And
maybe this kind of hope is needed. Now it's 70 years since the Second World War, and the situation is getting hotter, and maybe this kind of somehow belief and trust in the future is needed. Definitely it is needed on some level. Then if it's psychodrama, which is the answer?
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. Or is it psychodrama together with something else? Or psychodrama in a bit different form, what it exists and functions now, or on different basis, or in cooperation or co-creation with something else we haven't yet even started. So it might be one of the solutions. I don't think that one solution is enough.
Yeah.
We need many solutions on different levels, from different perspectives. Yeah. And still, I think that most important in human life is social relations to others.
Yeah. Okay, so to end this on a lighter note, 3 wishes that you would ask to genie in a lamp.
Sorry, to
What
ask...
is 3 wishes that you would ask to the genie? What is in a lamp? You know. Find a lamp.
Spirit in a lamp. Okay.
Yeah, or the
3 wishes.
3 wishes.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking it from the perspective of psychodrama world and psychodrama. Yeah, I would have other wishes for the whole world, but somehow they might be, I don't know yet, they might be connected to the same principles. My worst, first, not the worst, but first wish is that professionals inside psychodrama world would continue and increase more open cooperation and co-creation.
Okay.
Second wish is that psychodrama, we could find ways to increase and broaden both the fields of application and the professional fields from where our students come, that these could be broadened and enlarged. We could do it in psychodrama. And the third wish is, now I know. The third wish is, I don't know if this is in order, but anyway, I think my third wish is that we as professional psychodramatists, sociodramatists, sociometrists, we would start to use our competencies and skills more outside of the world of psychodrama, because the situation is challenging in many of the communities and societies on the level of the whole world. And so my wish is that we would be more active, we would be more like proactive outside as professionals outside of psychodrama world in societies and communities, so that it helps at least myself, the things what I do here inside of psychodrama world. I'm not sure if it's so helpful to others. So it's really like yeah, this kind of feeling, experience of competence and experience of this kind of relatedness and belongingness.
Okay.
It's we could start to do it, and this kind of benevolence, goodwill, that we could start to do it outside of psychodrama world too, because it helps with our self-esteem. So I don't mean that everyone has to do a lot,
Yeah.
but if some of us could do a bit more, or a bit more of us could do some, it would have, I'm sure it would have a positive effect, at least in some communities or situations where there is a lot of tension.
Your wishes will become alive.
Ah, nice. Thank you, Aika.
Thank you, Reijo, and thank you for the interview. And a lot of thanks to you for your contribution to Nordic-Baltic Board of Examiners, for your work you've done there already, and yeah, for everything that you do in psychodrama has done already, that you did already, and that you will do next, because you have such a grand plans. So I'm somehow very happy and thankful that you are still working. Also, you're saying that you are retired, but I think you have this, wow, good big plan for your retirement.
Yeah. Thank you, Aika, a lot for inviting me to this kind of discussion together with you. And it has been my great pleasure to work together with the colleagues and together with you too in Nordic-Baltic Board. It was such inspiring work.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was like if I would have continued in something, doing something after retirement, Nordic-Baltic Board would have been definitely one.
Oh.
It's yeah.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure and joy to work together with you and the rest of our colleagues there.
Thank you, Reijo.
Thank you.
A lot for this conversation.
Thank you, Aida. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.